that jacket.
Oh, it's like a little bit Western, you know?
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a duster going on.
Okay, wait, is that it?
Ready for the beginning of Once Upon a Time in the West.
Say your first and last name, please.
Jamal Finkley, BlackTree TV.
We have speed.
I'm here with Quentin Tarantino, a director who I've followed everything you've done since True Romance to now, so I've always loved your stuff. Now, you've went from the Holocaust to now slavery. Is there any other atrocities that you're going to tackle next?
I don't know. I mean, I don't have one necessarily in mind, but I would kind of agree that this does seem to beg a trilogy of some sort.
Yeah.
All right, I shouldn't just stop with two. There should be at least one more bookend where I get to make the victims the victors and victimize the victimizers.
2, 1, go!
Right. What I loved about this, I mean, I know you always have this affinity for Westerns, but I like how you put Frank Nero in it.
Yeah.
It had that little nugget for the people that's been following the Westerns.
Oh, well, actually, I have the two Djangos right next to each other in the
Yeah.
same frame. Well, that was like, yeah, there was like, it was one of those movie moments. We were kind of pinching ourselves when we were shooting it.
What trips me out about this movie is that people complain about the violence, as if slavery wasn't more violent. I think you PG'd the slave movement. But you do a great job of like showing violent movies. Like what about those characters and those action sequences just attracts you to create them?
Well, you know, it's funny because in this movie's a little different because, you know, there's two brands of violence in this film. That's not always been the case in my other movies. You know, in this one, you know, we have to deal with the true brutality of slavery. And I wanted to take a 21st century audience and stick them in the middle of Mississippi in the antebellum South and have them see this is America. This was America then. You have to see it that way. And you're right. I cut it back because, frankly, it just, I could handle it more. But we watched it with audiences. You know, the Mandingo fight was actually even worse in the original cut, and the dog sequence was even worse in the original cut. And I just realized I traumatized the audiences too much for them to go for the rest of the ride the way I needed them to go. So, you know, I actually held back just a little bit as far as I was concerned. But that violence is very sobering and very somber. But then you have the cathartic movie violence that happens. And that's the situation where, and to play those off of each other. You know, I wanted you to have that frustration and have that pain. And then I want the audience to need to have Django to have retribution. He needs to take care of these guys in order for it to be a satisfying experience. And then when I have my big sequence where I'm allowing it to happen, then I wanted to just go all in.
Right.
You mind telling me what the hell you doing?
I confirmed that Pamela is at Candyland.
Sure it's her?
He didn't call her by name, but she's a young lady, with marks on her back and speaks German. Now, while it's not wise to assume in this instance, I think it's pretty safe. Point being, don't get so carried away with your retribution. You lose sight of why we're here.
You think I lost sight of that?
Yes, I do. Stop antagonizing Candy.
I'm not antagonizing. I'm intriguing him.
You're yelling abuse at these poor slaves?
I recall a man who had me kill another man in front of his son, and he didn't bat an eye. You remember that?
Yeah, of course I remember.
What you said was that this is my world. And in my world, you gotta get dirty. So that's what I'm doing. I'm getting dirty.
Before I go, last question. You've taken the liberty of using the word nigger in a lot of pictures. I think it's you use it like truthfully in the script. But what gave you the courage to do so? I mean, I know it's like a lot of critics are saying that, but it seems like courageous for you to be able to put that in there and say, as a filmmaker, I'm gonna put truth to the script.
Well, one, thank you very much. I mean, the situation with me is in each situation I've ever done, it's just been to the truth of the characters, and here it's also the truth of the characters and the truth of the time period. In this case, nobody's actually suggesting that they didn't say it that much in 1858 in Mississippi.
Right.
All right, that would be ridiculous. They're not even saying this, but they're saying maybe I should have cleaned it up. Well, that's just not what I do. I don't clean it up. And thank you for saying the courageous thing. But it's just this. It's you know, there's film criticism and there's social criticism. And the people who have said, who've complained about my use of that are been social critics. And I have to say, there's not one iota of social criticism that has ever been leveled my way that has changed one word of any other script I've written or any scenario I've ever done. It's my job to ignore them and to not pay attention to them because I believe in what I'm doing wholeheartedly and passionately, and it's my job to just get on with it.
Yeah. Well, I love you as a filmmaker. Keep on doing it. I'll keep on watching, man.
My pleasure, mate.
Thank you.
Good support, man. Good luck.
I love when he does it.
Not everybody gets the whole song. You're very lucky.